All right, welcome back to the Lady Dicks podcast. I am your host, Tay, and you're about to meet my co-hosts, Nikki and Andrea. You are probably here to dick around, let's be honest. That's why we're here too. But we'll try to keep the shit just a little bit classy while we do. Today, we are going to go back to a classic haunt based in San Diego, California, known as the Whaley House. Not only was this the home of Thomas and Anna Whaley and their children, but also a granary, the county courthouse, the city's first commercial theater, and a whole whack of other businesses, including a general store, a ballroom, billiards hall, and a schoolhouse.
Well, it's got quite the history. But before we get to that, we've got a few housekeeping matters to attend to, like, usual.
The usual.
The huge spiel.
Yeah.
Spiel.
Stuff.
Whatever. Anyways, I'm Nikki. I'm Nikki. Hello. Welcome back. And we're glad you didn't ghost us. If you're brand new to the Lady Dicks podcast, welcome. We tackle all kinds of historical, mystery, and paranormal stories with a tad bit of overly cheesy comedy or commentary, however you prefer to view it.
You can call it what you want.
Yeah. When we say comedy, it makes us feel better, so
yeah, we think we're funny.
We just go with it.
You might not. That's okay.
Yeah, you might not think we're funny, but
some people do think we're funny, though.
That's true.
Yeah.
There are a few select individuals who think that we're very
But
funny.
honestly, though, Tay's fucking hilarious, so...
Only some days.
Most days.
I feel
Let's
like
be
you have
real.
some good clips every once in a while, too, and they're like the kind that I'm listening and I'm like, I can't believe you just said that.
Oops.
There was the one time that you booed the dead girls.
Wow, I'm an asshole.
Yeah, well, I think all three of us can be assholes, so...
Pretty sure it's like a fair shared field.
Okay, well, anyways, if that doesn't quite sound like your thing, then we totally understand. So, bye.
Bye.
See you later.
Ciao.
Hey guys, Andrea here. We also want to disclose before we dig into it that we're a podcast meant for adults. We don't always use the best language, and most of our topics get a little bit gruesome. So if you're dropping the kids off at daycare right now, you'll probably want to wait until they're out of the car.
We absolutely love what we do, but we want to take some time to reiterate that we are by no means perfect. We are an independent podcast, which means we do everything from research and writing, recording and editing, marketing, blah, 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 all on our own. So if you have a suggestion on how we can improve the podcast, please flip us a note at stories@ladydicks.com. We are happy to hear them. Do not give us a 1-star review. We won't read it. And also, I'll think you're a dick. And if you don't care about that, that's fine too.
And if you want to support our little podcast, there are a few things you can do. You can give us a 5-star rating, not 1-star, like Tay just mentioned, and tell us who your favorite Hollywood Chris is, and in whatever podcasting app you listen to us in.
I would like to say that I'm going to see a movie with Chris Evans today, so I will let people know if he really shouldn't be on the Hollywood Chris list next time.
What movie is it?
Knives Out.
Never heard of it.
It's like the one, it's called like, it has a stacked cast. It has the guy who's like currently playing James Bond.
Okay.
And like Jamie Lee Curtis.
Mm-hmm.
And Chris Evans, which I'm not sure if whatever, that really makes a stacked cast. And
he was Captain America. I think it does.
I guess, yeah, that's fair.
But, like, what has he been doing consistently lately?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. Anyway, it's got lots of people in it.
It has Daniel Craig.
That's the James Bond guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just testing this because it feels like it's not coming out, but I think it's because Nicole's is now so much larger.
Because I'm larger than life.
Larger than life. It looks fine.
All right. You can share the podcast with someone you think would love it. Your girlfriend, boyfriend, coworker, family member, anybody. Anybody who's anybody. And sign yourself up to our mailing list at theladydicks.com. If you have a little cash you want to throw our way to help Taylor, because it's funded by her bankroll, you can head to our merch shop and get yourself a shirt or a mug. Or if you have too many shirts and mugs and just don't want any of that shit, that's cool. And you have some extra money in your cash, burning a hole.
In your cash.
Money in your pocket.
Got a little money in your cash.
I wish I had some extra money in my cash. Because I have none of the above right now.
I need to finish my coffee. Holy moly. If you have a little extra cash in your pocket and you want to throw it our way, you can send us a donation on PayPal at storiesoftheladydicks.com. And it would be greatly appreciated.
Super nice.
Mm-hmm. Be like a little Christmas gift.
Yay.
Actually, no, this might be coming out after Christmas.
Yeah, it might. I don't know when it's coming. We're recording it before
Scratch
Christmas.
that. Rewind.
I need to make sure my sound is off of my phone because, it's going to just
start to go nuts.
Yeah, this will be the one time that someone calls me in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Well, texts make noise too. So
that's what I mean. Or text me, I guess is like the same thing that I'm saying.
All right. That is more than enough of the business. Let's get into it. The Whaley House is a Greek Revival-style residence in Old Town San Diego that was built in 1857 by Thomas Whaley. Not only is this former family home a California historical landmark, but it's had so many lives and seen so much tragedy that it was actually named the most haunted house in America by the Travel Channel.
That's right. This is the most haunted house, or mansion maybe, I think it's listed on the travel haunted house list as number 1. But then I've also heard it as the most haunted mansion, and I'm just not sure if all haunted houses are mansions or if it's made a second list to be the most haunted mansion as well. I don't know.
Not sure. I guess we'll have to look into
Let's
that
just
a
say
little
it's
bit
won some
deeper.
awards in the haunting area. It's taking home a few Haunted Academy Awards, if you know what I mean.
Because this house and its occupants have such a long history each, we've zeroed in on a timeline of events relevant to the hauntings and weird history of the house. This is essentially to say that there is a ton more information out there if you're interested in the Whaley family. Thomas Whaley and his business interests, or even the history of Old Town San Diego and California in the gold rush. We try to keep our episodes somewhere between the 45-minute to an hour mark, so we've made some editorial decisions.
So basically, this is not going to be all-encompassing, and I don't want to hear any complaints about it. We are not historians. This isn't the History Channel.
Thomas Whaley was born in New York City in 1823. He came from an entrepreneurial family who owned a mining equipment company, Whaley and Pye. They offered mining equipment and utensils on consignment.
Which seems weird. Isn't consignment where you bring your thing to the store and then they sell it for you?
That's what I know it to be, but I think
they're selling
there might
other people's mining stuff?
be a little bit more to consignment.
I don't know. It seemed weird to me. But perhaps not. Maybe it was normal at that time.
The definition of consignment says a batch of goods destined for or delivered to someone, a consignment of beef, the action of consigning or delivering something, and then it says U.S. agreement to pay a supplier of goods after the goods are sold.
Oh, so I guess they could be go into the mining companies and then they were like, we'll sell it in our store, but we'll only pay you after the good is sold. Do you know what I mean?
I guess so, yeah.
They basically just have an open space and people come in and put their shit in it and then they make the money afterwards. I don't know.
It sounds like they were quite well-to-do.
They were super well-to-do. And Thomas Whaley was no exception. He was an entrepreneurial, maybe genius for his time. I don't know. He wasn't that great.
Well, by today's standards, definitely not. But things were a little bit different.
He was the Silicon startup type guys in the 1800s, and the Silicon startup was mining equipment and the gold rush and owning a general store. He started Shopify for the original Shopify.
Before the internet.
Yep.
When Thomas was 25, he decided to set out on his own and go west. On January 1st, 1849, he jumped on the Sutton and arrived in San Francisco 204 days later. Once in San Francisco, he opened his own hardware store with a business partner. Thomas became widely successful, enough that he opened another store on his own and bought out his partner. By 1853, Thomas had made enough cash to run back to New York and snag his dream girl, Anna Louise Delaunay. They were married on May 14th, and the pair returned to the West Coast. In September of 1855, Thomas Whaley purchased the plot of land at 2476 San Diego Ave in Old Town San Diego, California. He and Anna had just moved back into the San Diego area.
Apparently we're going to say San Diego a lot.
Apparently we are. An arson set fire destroyed Thomas's general store in San Francisco in 1851. In San Francisco or San Diego?
No, he was living in San Francisco in 1851.
Okay.
This is 55, I think.
Just checking.
Yeah.
And between that and getting married, he was ready for something new.
So the plot of land that Whaley purchased already had a sordid past of its own. In August of 1852, the famous Yankee Jim Robinson had been hung there. James Robinson, a.k.a. Yankee Jim, was, as the blog Weird US put it, quote, a small-time criminal and would-be pirate. According to the Los Angeles Herald, he was a Canadian Frenchman who stood about 6'3" or 6'4" and was, quote, well-developed physically. So he was like a big, scary dude. They further said that, quote, he had anything but a prepossessing appearance and was shunned by all respectable people. So,
Ouch.
Not a great dude. And no one liked him. Yankee Jim, along with two buddies, James Grayson Loring and William Harris, also small-time criminals, were known to, quote, pounce upon minors in out-of-the-way places, murder them, and rob them of their golden trinkets. And while these three disagreeable men might have been known for much more sinister deeds, the one that did him in was stealing a rowboat in the San Diego Bay. I put San Francisco, but that's not true, because it would be weird if he was executed then in San Diego. As we've probably talked about on previous episodes, stealing someone's mode of transportation back in the 1800s was a hell no-go. So this little incident warned him.
I mean, it still is nowadays,
but
too.
It's not like it's bad. If you steal a truck, you're not getting a death sentence. In the 1800s,
yeah, that's true.
If you stole a horse, you were dying, man.
You were going to be hung in the gallows.
There was there was no other. I mean, you murder someone, they're like, well, they might have had it coming to them.
Yeah.
If you steal a horse, it's like, nope, man.
Or even if you stole like someone's crops or something, it's like you stole. It was like
I don't know. The horse was like something, horse or boat or any mode of transportation. Like that was it for them. They couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Without it, which is why people were stealing it. In any case, so this incident did warrant him a death sentence. Unfortunately for Yankee Jim, the average man at the time stood around 5'5", meaning the gallows that he was going to be hung from were barely taller than him. So instead of working like a gallows should and snapping his neck instantly, Yankee Jim essentially dangled and choked, twisting on his tippy toes for an estimated 45 minutes before actually dying.
Oh my God.
It was probably one of the most brutal executions in history. Needless to say, Yankee Jim was not exactly a happy camper when he died, and when he died on the land that would be purchased by Thomas Whaley 3 years later, and is known to be the earliest documented ghost in the Whaley home. But we'll get to that in a bit.
Thomas Whaley's plan for the house included building a 2-story Greek Revival-style home designed and built by himself in brick from the brick yard he owned on Conde Street?
Probably Conde.
I think it's Conde Street.
Yeah, Conde Street. Construction on the home started in September of 1956 and was completed in 1856 and was completed in 1857.
Yeah, you're right. God, numbers are so bad for me.
Tay's a little dyslexic sometimes.
Because when you're writing things,
yeah.
I realize we're writing in the 1800s, but like, my head is like, I'm like 19 makes way more sense
That's
to me.
because we refer to the 1900s more frequently, so it's probably just habit. Like,
although I don't know, we've had a lot of episodes that we've done like over the last.
but just like
3
in general,
seasons.
it's like, oh, when
That's
were you
true,
born?
yeah. That's true.
1990, whatever, 1980.
That's very true.
Yeah. So the house cost a total of $10,000, which is equivalent to the value of $295,800,
Which
like
is
today.
still not like the craziest house
No.
out there.
That's less than what I paid for my house.
But also, like, the value of goods back then was different too, right?
Yeah. Plus, he did all the labor himself.
And he built it with his own. He owned the bricks that built it,
Yeah.
and then he built it himself.
So
He
he's
didn't
probably
hire
not
contractors
So he's probably not
or-
counting the cost of the bricks and his like.
So that's probably not factored in.
Yeah.
Also,
It's probably just
most
other
houses
materials.
these days, like $295,000 can still get you a really nice
That's
house.
actually very
Oh yeah.
true.
Like
It's-
a mansion in some states
Yeah.
or cities.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like what I paid for my house, I'd be living like a fucking queen.
Yeah,
in
but it
some
depends
places
on
down
where.
there. Yeah, well, exactly. Depending on the place, I could be living like a queen. It was acclaimed by the San Diego Herald to be the quote finest.
It was not the first.
It was not the first. Finest new brick block in Southern California and contained furnishings.
Just the one set
That
of furnishings.
not furnishings and furnishings.
Furnishings and furnishings.
And contained furnishings that included, quote, mahogany and rosewood furniture, damask drapes, and Brussels carpets.
Which were all apparently very fancy at the time.
Yes. By the time they moved in, Thomas and Anna had 2 children, Francis Hinton Whaley, born December 28th, 1854, and Thomas Whaley Jr., born August 18th, 1856.
Jesus.
In August of 1857, Thomas Sr. opened a general store in the Whaley House, but it turned out the house was too far from the hustle and bustle of the community, so instead he rented a spot on the plaza. The year 1858 was a tragic one for the Whaley family. On January 29th, 1858, Thomas Jr., suffering from scarlet fever, died at 18 months old inside the Whaley house. 6 months later, on June 27th, Anna Amelia was born. Sorry, I was like, what?
Weird name.
Yeah. Anna Amelia was born to add a little girl into the year. Little light into the year. Oh my God.
You're just like,
I'm
just
making
doing
shit
your own
up.
thing. It's all good.
Rewind. Anna Amelia was born to add a little light into the year. But just over 2 months later, on August 16th, Whaley's wooden store on the north side of the plaza burned down. The cause was arson, and Thomas lost $3,000 worth of merchandise, which is about $91,000 today's value.
And also, I would like to point out that is his second house. Or his second store that is burnt down, because the store in San Francisco, which we really didn't talk about because there's a whole history of him in San Francisco, which seemed totally unnecessary and irrelevant to talk about, except for the fact that his house had also burned down from arson.
Wow.
The family was not having a good year,
We're good.
so they packed up what they had left. Thomas hired Frank Ames to manage his properties and business assets, and they moved back to San Francisco. During their time in San Francisco, the Whaleys had 3 new additions to the family. George Hay Ringgold Whaley, born in 1860, Violet Eloise Whaley in 1862, Corinne Lillian Whaley in 1864. So by the time the family returned to San Diego in 1868, they had 5 children. When they arrived back to the home, they found their home in disrepair. Thomas fixed up the home, and in the fall they opened up a general store and rented parts of it out to other businesses. From December 2nd, 1868 to January of 1869, the front upstairs bedroom was rented out to the Tanner Troupe, who ran a theater out of it. They had a small stage, benches for $150, and paid $20 in gold coin for rent. Unfortunately, 17 days after it opened, Mr. Tanner died. The Whaley House then started to be used as a local courthouse. They housed a whole collection of trials at the home on May 19th. The court held their May term, which saw trials for forgery, grand larceny, assault and battery, and assault to murder.
I don't know what assault to murder is, though.
I don't know either.
Like, are they
You
like,
assault someone and they die by accident?
is that like or is it
or
like,
did it like start out as an assault and then all of a sudden it became a murder?
or is it like an accessory to murder where like one accomplice like
Ooh.
assaults the
and then the
victim.
other person murdered them?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like a tag team scenario. Oh dear.
Murder tag team.
It sounds bad, whatever it is.
It does
Yeah.
not sound great.
I wouldn't want
not-
that going on in my home.
I was
like
just going to
those
say I would
people
not like
in
that to
there.
experience that.
Yeah, it's not great.
No.
It's not great.
However, it was clear that the family still lived in the house at the time because that year's census shows the occupants as Thomas, age 46, Anna, 32, Anna, 11, Violet, 7, Lily, 5, Francis, 15, George, 9, and Yao, age 16, who is listed as a domestic from China.
I shouldn't be laughing at that. Holy fuck.
It was just very interesting pronunciation, and
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was probably how it was
And
supposed
I
to be
think it was
pronounced.
the way
I don't know.
Andrea
That's the way
said
it's
it.
spelled.
True.
I mean,
true.
there's no vowels in the first name at all.
That's true.
It's
It's,
just
literally SH. That's it.
Sh.
Maybe it's Xiao.
Maybe.
Don't know.
They just like drop the middle of it.
Maybe. The website Ghost and Gravestones also said that sometime in 1871, while the house was operating as a courthouse, a gang held up Anna Whaley to gain access to some of the court records kept in the home.
So yeah, not great to be living there while it's being used as a courthouse.
No.
So in 1882, the Whaley girls, Anna, 22, and Violet, 20, had a double wedding. How cute.
Right?
Violet married George Bertolucci, and Anna married John Thomas Whaley, who is her first cousin. Yay!
Oh, it wouldn't be a good haunt without some incest.
No, it would not. Unfortunately, George Bertolucci turned out to be a humongous douchebag. 2 weeks into the marriage, the happy couple was traveling east on their honeymoon when Violet awoke to find out that Bertolucci had just gone. He was gone.
He
left.
pieced it.
Turns out he was a con artist who had only married her for the, quote, substantial dowry he thought he was getting. No word on whether he got it or not. Sadly, society in 1882 sucked balls because Violet was effectively shunned as a woman whose husband walked out on her. The late 19th century Victorian society labeled her as an improper woman. They were divorced about a year ago, but Violet never got over
A year later.
Yep. They were just divorced in about 2018-ish, retroactively speaking. They were divorced a year later, but Violet never got over the humiliation and betrayal. On one fateful night of October, nope.
Hey, you're doing me now.
I am. I'm just making shit up. On the fateful night of August 19th, 1885, while overwhelmed with grief, not Greece, just grief, it's fine. Violet stole one of her father's guns and snuck off into the outhouse in the backyard where she shot herself. Thomas found her in the backyard. He gathered her up and brought her into the house's back parlor and sat with his dying daughter. 15 minutes later, she was gone. The scandal of Violet's suicide and Corinne's subsequent breakup resulting...
And Corinne's subsequent breakup.
Yeah, in Corinne's... Sorry, I should have probably said something about that. I don't know how I just cut it out. So... It was like, obviously, their family was just like, whoa, not welcomed by society. Their daughter was dumped. Then she killed herself. And so Corinne, who married her cousin,
got dumped by her cousin.
Also got dumped by her cousin. Because, oh, no, never mind. Corinne was the younger daughter. I lied. Anna was still married. He was family. He had to stay. Corinne had a... Corinne had like a suitor. They were getting married. Like the other daughter.
The cousins stayed together.
The cousins stayed together. They were fine. They lived happily ever
Keep
after.
it in the family.
I mean, he didn't really have a choice. He was obviously going to be shunned from society either way because he was a Whaley to begin with. In any case, Corinne, their other daughter, was going to get married this same year, but because they had so much family tragedy, society was like, screw you. So Thomas decided to move the family to a single-story home at 933 State Street. The Whaley House remained vacant for the next 2 decades. Although I will mention that, like, I think they rented it out a few times, and they did try to sell it. It was on the market for a long time, and
Nobody wanted to buy it.
yeah, no one was really into it. But Anna Whaley, the mom, held like dances, like community dances and stuff there too.
Okay. Thomas retired in 1888 due to poor health, but Francis, 34 at the time, took over. He passed away on December 14th, 1890, at their 933 State Street address, where it appears they were living at the time. Fast forward to 1909, Francis Whaley moves into the Whaley House and restores the structure prior to his moving in the house. It had been abandoned, forgotten, and listed for sale for years, which obviously didn't sell.
Nope.
It took about a year for him to restore it. By 1912, George, Lillian, Francis, and their mother Anna were all living in the Whaley House had now been turned into a tourist home.
No, sorry, your had was correct.
Yeah.
At that time, they were letting people tour their house. I don't think quite to the extent that they do today, but yeah,
They were just trying to bring in some cash.
They needed some cash. They had a side hustle going on.
Yeah. Anna Whaley died on February 24th, 1914, at 80 years old in the Whaley House. She's followed by Francis Whaley on November 19th, 1914. Eventually, all of the family moves away, save for Corinne Whaley. But in 1953, she falls and is moved into a nursing home. The home is immediately put on liquidation sale to pay for her care. But she passes away on September 14th, so not too long after, I guess.
Yeah, they didn't tell me the date she moved into the nursing home, but the house hadn't sold by then, and it sounded like it really wasn't a big deal because she died.
Yeah. She was a member of the first graduating class of San Diego High School and went on to be a school teacher and assistant librarian.
Which I think is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. At this time, the house is reverted to the ownership of the county of San Diego. It is yet again falling apart, and they undertake the renovation. Today, the house is owned by the county, but the stewardship of the property is handled by the Save of Our Heritage organization.
Yeah, so the house is now owned by the county. Yay.
It's a lot of deaths in that house.
It's an old house.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very old house. Like one of the first in that area.
And it's funny how, like, no one else ever owned it.
They did try to dump it.
Yeah,
like,
numerous times.
Yeah.
Just unsuccessfully.
They put effort
It's just
into
that they were
getting
the
rid of it.
original builders of it.
And they lived it until they died.
Yeah,
And
until the
then-
county took
and
it.
then it was, taken
Because
by the
nobody
county.
wanted it.
Yep.
It was a reject.
Must have been in that much disrepair then.
Yeah.
For no one to want it.
If I saw a house like that, I'd be like,
Even
damn,
in, like,
yes. Sign me up.
1950s, like, it's an historic home. Although there's probably a lot of, like, permits and stuff to, like, restore it.
Oh, yeah.
And it's
Because at that
probably-
time, it probably obviously didn't have plumbing or
That's
that
very
kind of
true.
stuff. It would have been like an outhouse.
Yeah, their outhouse was in the backyard. It wasn't even, like, connected
Yeah.
to the house. Gross.
Mm-hmm. Well, it could have been connected to the house at that
It
time or
wasn't, though.
close to the
Well,
house.
it could have been at that time. But,
Yeah.
like, in the original home, it was it was, like, in the yard.
Yeah, totally.
Which is kind of hilarious.
So you got to get up and pee in the middle of the night. Better put on your jacket if it's wintertime.
Except for they're in San Diego, so it's not going to be that cold.
Never mind. Not like here where it's like minus 20 and you're just like, I don't even want to step outside my house.
That's where you have, like, a porta potty.
My mom didn't have outdoor plumbing, like indoor plumbing at one point in her life when she was young.
Where was she in BC, though?
I think that might have been but northern BC.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
So, like, it was cold.
But I feel like they wouldn't have had indoor plumbing, but they probably had, like, it was probably really close to their house.
Probably, but still.
I would hope so.
It wasn't pleasant.
No, of course not. I would imagine it's not. All right.
The Whaley House saw so much tragedy, and many members of the family have passed away inside the home. So it's not surprising that the house is supposed to be haunted. Like we said at the beginning of the episode, not only is it haunted, but it's touted as being the most haunted house in America. So who might you find at the Whaley House? Yankee Jim is said to be the oldest ghost in the Whaley House. In fact, Thomas Whaley himself said that he and the family could hear heavy footsteps going up and down the stairs. Considering Yankee Jim's unnecessarily gruesome death, it's no surprise that he hasn't left. Visitors to the home have also reported cold spots, uneasy feelings, their chest tightening, and some even say they've seen his apparition. But he disappears if you come too close. Unsurprisingly, though, Yankee Jim isn't the only ghost of the Whaley House. Both Thomas Jr. and Violet Whaley are both said to still be lurking around the old family digs. Visitors often report infant cries in the back room of the second floor of the house, typically attributed to the fact that he died so young. Visitors have also reported seeing a young woman, while others say they feel a profound sorrow. These have been attributed to Violet Whaley. Furthermore, according to BuzzFeed, a police officer responding to a 911 call to the Whaley House had an unusual experience over 30 years ago, which he only revealed in a confidential retirement letter. The officer said that he saw a woman at the back of the house crying. She was in period clothing. He asked if she was all right and turned around and smiled. But then when he shone his flashlight on her, she vanished.
That really freaked me out when I read it originally. Oh, no, I didn't read it. I was watching a movie, like a YouTube video, and it freaked me out.
That's weird. Because
I like that stuff.
Yeah.
But some things freak me out more than other things. I don't know why. Mm-hmm. Wasn't like I couldn't go to sleep. I obviously went to bed like right after because it was like late.
It's all about the mood.
It's true. I like a good scary story.
Other visitors have reported seeing or feeling Thomas and Anna. Specifically, there have been reports of Thomas dressed in his frock, coat, and top hat standing at the top of the stairs. But the Whaleys aren't the only ones in the home. In the early 1900s, Lillian rented the house out to various tenants, and it's suspected that some of the spirits that remain unidentified are that of the former tenants. A little girl has been seen in the dining room, and vaudeville can occasionally be heard in the room that was formerly the theater. More interesting yet, though, some psychics claim that the courtroom is particularly active. A woman has been seen in the jury box, and some paranormal investigators allege that the back corner is a spiritual vortex.
I don't know what that means. But it does not sound good.
No, it does not.
Well, if those people were convicted in the courthouse and...
But this is the jury box, though.
Yeah. But who knows? Maybe they just go there because they're just like, damn them.
They're like, I should have been on this jury, even though I was obviously the one
getting
on
tried.
Trial.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And finally, much like other allegedly haunted houses, there are reports of lights flickering on and off on their own, lamps swinging, crystals chiming, and temperature changes throughout the house.
Like any other haunted place with a certain level of fame, the Whaley House has made an entrance into pop culture by way of a 2012 movie titled The Haunting of the Whaley House. The synopsis reads, a tour guide at a notorious haunted house gets more than she bargained for during an unauthorized ghost hunt with her friends. The film directed by Jose Prendes. Is that Jose?
Yep.
Okay, cool. I know what I'm talking about. Stars Alex Arlo, whose credits include Harry's Law, the 2010 remake of 90210, and Sharknado.
Ooh.
Yay. And Ariel Brackfield, whose credits included absolutely nothing that I recognized. And enough that I couldn't even pick out one that I was like, maybe people will know this. So I'm sure she has lots of great credits that I just don't recognize. Probably independent films. And has a whopping 3.8 out of 10 on IMDb. and better yet, a 12% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's bad.
If you are compelled by the overwhelming ratings that you just have to watch it yourself, you can actually stream you could probably scream too. The Haunting of the Whaley House on Amazon Prime. I've included a link in the show notes just to be nice. Because honestly, if you want to watch it, you shouldn't have to go out of your way to do it.
maybe have a drink. Maybe that'll help you get over
I'm sure you
some
could
of
make
the
a drinking game out of it.
Yeah.
They're like every time they do something that they're not supposed to do. I didn't watch it. I was going to watch it. And then I couldn't justify taking the time to watch it because I was really busy this week.
And it sounds like awful.
It sounds so bad. However, if I'm looking, the next like super cheesy horror movie I'm looking for, I'll throw it on. I'll probably only get like 30 minutes into it and can't stand it, but
That's fine.
I'm sure it will be fine. Someone out there likes it. It's probably Jose's mom. She loves it.
Or she may hate it too.
But she was the only one who gave it like the 10 stars to help balance like
All the other shitty reviews.
yeah.
Yeah. But let's be honest, we're not really here to talk about entertainment pieces based on this haunted house. We want to see the real thing. So, lucky for you, we've got you covered. We've gathered all the relevant information and analyzed the reviews to create this handy dandy little spooky traveler guide to visiting the Whaley House. The Whaley House Museum is located at 2476 San Diego Ave in Old Town, San Diego, California. It's no longer owned by the Whaley family, obviously, because they're all dead.
Weird.
And I don't think any of them had any children of their own.
I looked for that, but I couldn't find anyone that had kids. You kind of imagine that like one of them had to have kids, but
there were 5
like,
children.
there were so many of them.
But if they did have kids, then the house wouldn't have been taken by the county unless they were just like, nah, we don't want it.
Maybe their kids just did. Maybe it was that trashy.
Maybe.
Like it kind of sounds like it was.
Yeah.
They were like, how about you have this little piece of history?
Yeah.
So
You
I don't
can
have to take
it.
care of it.
But it's owned by an organization called Save Our Heritage Organization.
Sounds like they are a nonprofit too, just in case anyone's curious.
Yeah, just kind of like saving heritage and history
Yeah.
pieces of whatever, I don't know. They are completely closed on Wednesdays. It's an odd day to be closed.
Yeah, so
but
don't go on Wednesday. You can't go.
could understand like Monday because that's what some businesses do, so they're open on the weekends, but
I don't know. I think they want to be open on the weekends and at nights, Wednesdays. I don't know. Maybe that was just our lowest traffic day. So they were
Maybe.
like, well, let's just close.
And their hours vary depending on the season and the day of the week. They do open every Thursday to Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. If you're traveling on a tighter budget, we suggest visiting the Whaley House Museum during the day, as the admission is $10 US instead of $13 US for evening admission.
You're really only saving $3 though.
Yeah.
But I guess every dollar counts.
Yes. The San Diego card.
Go card.
Go card.
It's the Go San Diego.
Oh.
Sorry.
card.
The
We
Go
have-
San Diego
if
card. I don't know what
people
that
go-
is. So
This is going to be a side note because I'm in the middle of creating them. By the time that this goes open or goes out, they'll be there. But we have an affiliate link for Go cards. And so I'm creating a bunch of guides on like the haunted places you can go using Go cards. And so it is included on the San Diego.
Oh,
Go card,
okay.
Is what the point I'm trying to make.
So the San Diego Go card, the Go San Diego card, does include the Whaley House Museum. However, if you have it, you need to use it during the day. It is not valid for night tours.
Which kind of sucks.
Yeah. You can find out more information about Go City cards on spookytraveler.com, our companion travel blog. You can find that link in the show notes.
Yay.
Overall, the Whaley House Museum has a 4 out of 5 on TripAdvisor, with about 12% of people rating it below average. Most of those people point out their disappointment on the ticket price, the unguided tour, and the fact that the house isn't haunted.
I do think you can have like both a guided and unguided tour though, because it sounds like some people have had guided tours.
Yeah.
But a couple of them were not very happy.
No, no, they were not.
We here at the Lady Dicks do recommend that you visit the Whaley House because we want to, but some of those not so happy people left some bad reviews, and Tay picked out a couple of our favorites.
Yep.
The first one is a review titled Scary Not by C. Nogales 3. She said, our tour guide was so speedy in talking, she could have slowed down so we can have time to visualize what she was talking about. Jeez, woman. I felt no scary energy in this house. Reconstructed, she kept talking about it was redone. Why in the world would you want to redo history? I just don't understand.
Mostly so it doesn't fall apart as you walk through it. That's why you want to redo.
Yeah, because it was probably condemned. She said the walls down the stairs were redone. They redone the kitchen. So I'm thinking for prop purposes, rooms were dark and some had clear windows in some rooms.
And also, as a side note, in these historical homes, when they're turning them back into like tourist attractions, they will often revert to the original if they have any like original blueprints and stuff. They want you to see it as it was before.
And they want you to see it safely.
It's not like they're trying to fake you out. They're just trying not to have a lawsuit, and they want you to see what you want to see.
Rooms were dark and some had clear windows in some rooms. Most doors were locked because they were meant to be locked. Yeah, not scaring me. Let us in. No need to take the big tour. You can tour yourself.
Okay.
Pittsburgh Patrick 07 didn't have a great experience either. They said, we toured this house as part of a group, and the tour guide, Dave, was a horrible representative of this company. He rushed us through and actually yelled at us to hurry because he was running late and another group was right behind us. There were 2 rooms we never even saw. I will never go back here simply because I never need to encounter this nasty man again. I'd write more, but I have wasted enough of my time on this tour.
Oh, dear.
If you are headed to San Diego sometime soon, you'll definitely want to check it out and let us know how it is so we can be jelly.
Well, that is it for this week. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, all at The Lady Dicks. You can find more information about each of us at theladiedicks.com, where we've got links to projects. We're in the middle of redoing those. Hopefully they'll be done by the time this comes out. Blah, blah, blah. If you are itching for more travel-related content, you can jump over to spookytraveler.com. That's traveler with 2 L's because we are Canadian, and that's adorable. Our companion travel website where we post everything from spooky places. You can visit travel tips and tricks, haunted city guides, and even great travel deals we know about. I actually have some travel deals ones going out. I just have to finish them this week. If you aren't on the mailing list for the spookytraveler.com, you should hop over there right now and get on it. We will be back next week with another spooky story.
In the meantime, try not to ghost anyone.
Ba-bum. Ba-bum. Ba-bum.